When I say the name LBJ, who comes to mind? Is it the forward for the Los Angeles Lakers? If that's the case, you need to watch this very special Black History Month episode of Nothing But the Truth.
Listen up! Listen up!
Live from Soul Deep Studio in Portland, Oregon, welcome to Nothing But the Truth with your host, Hakeem Rashad Muhammad.
What up, peeps? Welcome to a special episode of Nothing But the Truth, the Black History Edition, or Black History Month, I should say. So, when Black History Month comes upon us, we get the same names over and over again. We get Martin Luther King, we get Malcolm X, who else? We get Frederick Douglass, Ida B. Wells, Harriet Tubman, of course, and the list goes on of these same people. And that's all you hear about for Black History Month. And you guys know I work with kids a lot. So one of the cool things I like to do when they ask me, hey, Hakeem, who should I do a report on for Black History Month? And the answer I love to give them is Lyndon Baines Johnson, just to watch their face pause and be like, isn't he white? Yes, little girl, he's white. And this white man did more for Black history than a lot of black men. And I almost have a hard time saying that, but it's true. He is from Texas. Lyndon Baines Johnson, 36th president, is from Dallas, Texas. And back in the 60s, Texas was one of the most racist of the states. In the South, 1960s, Texas. So our president, Lyndon Baines Johnson, came into power from Texas. A lot of the people who put him into power are racists from Texas. So let me show you, I should say, a speech from a Texan in 64, after he signed the Civil Rights Act. This is a white man from the 60s from Texas. Check this out.
To continue the unending search for justice within our own borders. We believe that all men are created equal, yet many are denied equal treatment. We believe that all men have certain unalienable rights, yet many Americans do not enjoy those rights. We believe that all men are entitled to the blessings of liberty, yet millions are being deprived of those blessings, not because of their own failures, but because of the color of their skin.
Woo! Preach, brother. Y'all hear that? So what's like kind of lost on a lot of you younger viewers, that's not that big a deal. But 1964, for a white president to say those words on television was huge. So now he signed what we now know as the Civil Rights Act. What the Civil Rights Act is, boys and girls, it now makes it illegal to discriminate against race, color, creed, all that kind of stuff. So before he signed this bill, black people, there were laws, and these were actual laws. We couldn't ride certain buses. It was illegal for us to ride certain buses. If we could ride certain buses, we had to sit in certain sections of those buses. We couldn't go see movies. We had to go to our own theater. If we went to a white theater, we had to either sit in the back or sit in the balcony. If we didn't follow those rules, we could go to jail. We couldn't eat at certain restaurants. Certain water fountains we could not drink from. So we had to walk past like 6 or 7 water fountains to drink. We couldn't use certain bathrooms. All these things were legal to do, to discriminate. When he signed that, all those signs, whites only or colored only, had to come down. That was huge. What was also a part of that is it drove racist organizations underground. Before he signed that, the Ku Klux Klan had no problem being highly visible because there were all these laws in place. The Civil Rights Act stopped a lot of that. So we have to give our man LBJ, the original LBJ, some love. And on top of that, so he just did all that. The very next year, he signed the Voters' Rights Act in 1965. So, 1964, we got the Civil Rights Act. Lyndon Baines Johnson changed the world for people who lived through it, like my mom, my grandma, my aunts and uncles who lived through all that craziness in the 60s. Lyndon Baines Johnson is the one who changed that. And voters' rights. Down in the South, they had what's called the Jim Crow laws. You know, they would give you these crazy questions like, you have to own property to vote, or you have to live in a certain area to vote, or they would do all these little things to stop black people from voting. But Lyndon Baines Johnson signed into law the Voters' Rights Act. So now, I'll say it like my dad said it. How are you, an African American man, not going to vote? If you don't vote, shame on you for all the stuff these black people went through before you to get this signed into law. So, if you are my age, you guys may remember your mom, your auntie, your grandma, your great-grandma. On her wall, there was like these pictures of three people. It was JFK, RFK, MLK. Bam, bam, bam. One of the reasons, because they all were assassinated, so I give you that. That was like the main thing, but all those are the three names who we associate with civil rights. The one name who's missing from all that, RFK, JFK, MLK, LBJ. So for Black History Month, you gotta give my man LBJ some love, okay? Thank you, boys and girls. See you next week on Nothing But the Truth.